Hey guys, today we need to talk about the brutal reality of the tech market when it comes to jobs in 2025 that I don't think is being discussed enough. You're trying to break into tech right now, or even a seasoned professional looking to switch jobs, or you recently got laid off. What I'm about to share may be tough to hear, but I think we have to have an honest conversation about it. Now, obviously, the last few years have seen a massive pullback in the job market. It really comes down to the changes in interest rates. We had during COVID, it was very cheap to borrow money, and therefore people could use that cheap money to hire a lot of people. And when interest rates changed, the companies started to pull back and do mass layoffs. There's also the hiring freeze reality. Major tech companies have shifted from aggressive hiring to strategic reduction. So job postings are down significantly from that boom of 2020 to 2022. So the competition has intensified. A lot of people got into tech wanting a remote job. So now the entry level jobs are totally flooded. And we're seeing some of those have 500 to up to 1,000 applications per role. Basically, the we're always hiring mentality has completely evaporated. And that's what a lot of companies were doing for a long time. So we had all the massive layoffs at the FAANG companies. So basically, all of those people have now dropped down a level. They're competing with people that were at that mid-level developer level. Basically, it's creating a downstream effect that now those people are unemployed. So you're not just competing with new grads anymore. You're up against people with 10 plus years at Google, Meta, and Amazon. Companies are just naturally going to lean on those people over you. We've also seen other companies do quiet layoffs where they hired someone remote and now they demand they return to the office within 2 weeks. Now, that's basically a layoff. They just don't want to say it. They are kind of creating some performance management rather than public announcements. Basically, those public layoffs will create a lot of bad PR for those companies. So the way around that is they create unattainable performance metrics and the people cannot attain them and they are fired, not laid off. So basically, the talent pool is way oversaturated with qualified candidates. We also have a bit of the experience paradox, as I call it, where entry level jobs are requiring 2 to 3 years experience. Also, internships have become way more competitive than full time roles used to be. So, new grads are being told they're too junior, even for junior positions. So, basically, everyone graduates and there's nothing for them. A lot of people say just build projects, but even that's not cutting it when you're competing with a laid off senior engineer from a fan company. They're obviously going to go with that person over you, no experience and just created projects. Also, mid level is become the new senior. Companies are hiring one senior engineer instead of three mid level ones. Expectations have inflated. Mid level roles now require expertise that was senior level 5 years ago. Actually, one tip on this is a guy I had about 2 years ago. He came to me for a business analyst role that was pretty high paying, but his titles all said director. So I said, listen, I know you could do this job, but we can't go in with you as a director. So what we did was we changed all his titles down to kind of senior BA, lead BA roles. And bottom line is he could do the job. He got the job and he lasted for 18 months. So I think you have to be very cautious of what you're going in as, maybe changing your titles to kind of accommodate what job you're going for. Because a lot of people in those senior management and director level roles are now dropping to individual contributor roles. And the only way they're going to be able to get those is to change those titles and kind of tone those down a bit. All these factors also coincided with the birth of AI and kind of the mass adoption of it. That kind of took form in a few spots. So obviously, people are automating as many functions at companies as they possibly can via AI. Companies think they can reduce headcount based on the AI productivity gains. Now, some companies are using AI to empower their current people and are actually hiring more, but most companies are going the opposite way and are trying to reduce headcount to save money. We're also seeing AI's effect in the job application space too, where people can have an AI bot apply to hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs for them per month. And that is causing just massive piles of resumes where even if you're very qualified, you get lost in the shuffle very easily. Also, these AIs are reorganizing the resumes, which I always tell people this is what you have to do for every job you apply to. You have to either be a perfect fit or look like a perfect fit because your competition will at least look like a perfect fit. the AI reorganizing the resumes. Make sure you're doing that for every job you apply to. Another thing making it very hard these days is easy apply on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has made easy apply, and it's basically one click applications, and it's just effortless levels of just spamming hundreds of jobs. Basically, the recruiters are drowning in resumes and they can't possibly review them all perfectly. And that brings them back to AI filters. So you could be a great fit. If the AI filter doesn't see it, then you're not even getting to that HR person anymore. So that's something else you have to be very cautious of. Sadly, you could have an AI mass applying and the AI filter mass filtering out. You could be applying to hundreds of jobs and no human is ever actually seeing your resume despite you being qualified for it. That's kind of the reality we are living in today. So basically, all of this is creating the paradox of volume. More applications should mean more opportunities, right? Well, in this case, it's usually wrong. The easier it is to apply, the less each application matters. Quantity has completely destroyed quality in the application process for these high level tech jobs. Companies are actually seeing fewer qualified candidates because they can't sort through the spam and all the nonsense. So basically, quality candidates are getting lost in the shuffle. Your resume might be rejected by an ATS system for ridiculous reasons like formatting or missing one key word that doesn't even matter for the job. Even if you're a perfect match for the job description, you might not make it past the first automated filter. The best candidates aren't rising to the top anymore, it's becoming a random chance. Recruiters spend 6 seconds per resume when they're looking at 1,000 applications. Basically, this creates the perfection trap. You need a flawless resume with exact keyword matches to beat these ATS systems. One typo, one formatting issue, one missing buzzword, and boom, you're auto rejected. It's suddenly become not about your actual tech skills, but about how well you game this system and this algorithm. And basically, the cat's been out of the bag on this stuff. So everyone's optimizing for the same keywords. So you not only need to look perfect, you have to also stand out on top of that. It's not about being the best candidate anymore. It's about looking perfect on paper to a robot. We used to say perfect is the enemy of good, but in 2025, good doesn't even get you in the door. Being a solid, competent engineer, analyst, project manager who can do the job well isn't enough when the filters demand perfection. Also, in this buyer's market, the interview gauntlets have gotten worse, not better. I've seen 6 to 8 round interview processes that have become standard and not exceptional. Companies can take as much time as they want and need to hire the right person because that person is probably not going to get another job. That's how tough it is these days. I've even seen take home assignments that require 10 to 20 hours of work with no compensation. And those people didn't even get the job. I've even seen companies ghost candidates after months of making them jump through these interview hoops. Ultimately, you can do everything right and still not get the job. Often you're competing with internal candidates or the role was already promised to someone that knows the hiring manager. The feedback you get, if any, is usually generic and unhelpful. Rejection emails come months late or never at all. So with this massive pullback in the market, we've basically seen the golden age of compensation is over. Salary offers are down 15 to 30% from the peak COVID era of 2021 to 2022 levels. Signing bonus and equity packages have shrunk dramatically. The companies have the leverage again and they're using it. Remote work has been pulled way back. And companies are at least forcing people to be hybrid in the office 2 to 3 days a week. Some of the crazy total compensation packages from a few years back have now normalized. Now, if any of these points hit home to you, I have a career accelerator program where we build a personalized sales funnel for you. We will get you out of those endless piles, basically get you right to the hiring manager and to interviews, basically through LinkedIn outreach and email outreach and phone calls. So basically, we pull all the open jobs in your niche and do all the targeting for you. And I basically work with you until you get hired. So the success rate is 100%. So if you have any interest, you can click the link below, set up a call, and we can discuss a little more. Thanks again. Catch you guys next time.